larger than my cell and as full of terror for me. Bay searched the sky for the source of the sound. It was now out of sight. He set off walking. Bright sunlight bathed the boulevard. In no hurry, he strolled along, savoring the heat. As the muscles in his legs loosened up little by little, he lengthened his stride, passing a sunburned man who seemed shell-shocked in a suit so shabby it had the proverbial shine. He heard, "Spare a little change?" Stopping, Bay gave the man a couple quarters, then looked up. He was by the Barge Inn. "I heard a blues band here one night," he thought to himself, and tugged open the oak door. The coolness of the dark room enticed him to enter, and so did the sound of John Lee Hooker on the jukebox singing, "It Serves You Right to Suffer." It was happy hour, and the place was packed with people. Bay pushed in, enveloped immediately by the din of the crowd's conversations, which in bars on Friday afternoons had always seemed to him imbued with the quality of relief and relaxation. He said, "Here's your hat. What's your hurry?" "Only money knows no master, my man. I was reading about Leopold and Loeb. You know what they say, poor preparation produces piss-poor performance." Bay sat down at the bar and said, "Shot and a beer," when the bartender asked what he wanted. "Make that a double?" She looked at the clock. He shook his head. She shrugged and poured a bourbon, filling the glass to the brim and bringing it over to him with a bottle of Bud. He paid and savored his first taste of the cold beer. Mindful once more of the conversations all around him, he sipped the whiskey. "Hell hath no fury, my friend. You're making a mountain out of a molehill, man. This thing's a tempest in a teapot, to mix my metaphors. Agnew gave us nattering nabobs of negativism, but did he tag McGovern as the candidate of acid, amnesty, and abortion? I think so, but I'm not sure. Remember rum, Romanism, and rebellion? Hell, I haven't forgotten 54-40 or fight." Bay made sure his bag was still under the bar, then pulled a pack of top tobacco from his pocket, sat back down on the bar stool, and rolled a cigarette. As he smoked and drank, he listened. "I said, 'Hold your horses, honey. I ain't coming quite as quick as you.' Hey, I knew that guy when he was so poor he didn't have a pot to piss in. Dude, don't deny the devil his due." Bay leaned back to drain the beer at the bottom of his glass and got up to go after B.B. King's Caledonia had come crashing to a close. Momentarily blinded by the brightness outside the bar, Bay hesitated, blinking, then hefted his bag and headed off. He heard the hissing of a sprinkler on the lawn to his left. When he looked and saw the rainbow shimmer in the spray, what sprang into his mind was the epigraph of the Baldwin book. God gave Noah the rainbow sign. No more water, the fire next time. Several blocks from the bar, a boy on his bike came up on the sidewalk behind Bay, then cut off across the street. Holding out his arm, he flicked his fingers at each mailbox he flew past, flipping open every other one or so until he disappeared down the street in the distance. Bay picked up his pace now. He was coming closer, block by block, to the bluff beyond which he could see the sun beginning to drop out of sight behind the sea, beneath fiery fingers filling the sky with a garish orange glow. He turned onto a lane that ran along the bluff top. It took him, by and by, to a driveway descending through a dense-grown stand of pine, where Bay stumbled in the sudden darkness. When he staggered out into the open again, he was pleasantly surprised at how high the white-plumed pampas grass had grown since he had planted it beside the bungalow some years before. Approaching the porch, he approvingly noted the cedar shakes, which now completely covered the sides of the house. That took Ash long enough to accomplish, he thought. Only when he rang the doorbell did Bay remember Nina's pet python, saving himself a start when he peered through the window, and by lamplight recognized the reptile coiled on the couch. He heard someone inside coming closer and stepped back as the porch light came on and the door opened. "Could I interest you in a complimentary copy of The Watchtower?" He just had time to ask before Nina rushed out to hug him. "You bastard, Bay," she said, still squeezing him hard. "Showing up like this without a word of warning when you knew we were expecting you next week, not now. You could at least have called, you know." He shrugged sheepishly and stepped back, looking her up and down. Dark hair,